Hello, in this tutorial we're going to talk about LVM or Logical Volume Management. What is LVM? You know, basic disk partitioning in Linux has its shortcomings, right? Like what happens if you run out of that disk space, right? For example, let's say you have 20 gig and that 20 gig is filled with data, okay? So you don't have any more data space to save your data, okay? In the old days, a common solution was to copy data to a bigger disk, restart the system with the new disk, and hope that you didn't run out of space again anytime soon, right? So of course, this process means downtime and inefficiency. But LVM, it offers lots of flexibility and efficiency in dealing with constantly changing storage needs, right? So you can think of LVM as a dynamic partitions, meaning that you can create, resize, delete LVM partitions, yeah, which they are called logical volumes, okay, in LVM-speak. Uh, so you don't need to reboot the system to make the kernel aware of the newly created or resized partitions. So I'm going to use AWS to create an instance and create the LVM. So we're just going to go with the Red Hat. Just going to go with free tier eligible. Just going to enable IPv4, add storage. We're just going to go with 10 gig. I am going to create another disk, a new disk, and uh, try to do LVM on the new disk. So let's so I call this logical volume management. Okay, let's just allow port 22 for now. This is if you have watched my other videos, never do this, never ever. This is just a test. I'm just gonna delete this VM very quickly after this tutorial. Okay, so I'm just gonna review, launch, choose your key pair, and after you have selected your key pair, you can go ahead and launch the instance. Okay, so this is my instance here. Takes 10 or 20 seconds to boot up. Then we are going to connect to it. So before getting into details, there are three commands that you only need to know: physical volume, the volume group, and the logical volume. Okay, the physical volume is the actual hard disk, like the hard disk that you have. Okay, then you create groups of volumes. Then you have a logical volume. Okay, so uh, the LVM itself is just like it's a abstraction layer between your operating system and a physical hard drive. Okay, so like your physical hard drive and partitions are no longer tied to the hard drives, and partitions they reside on. Okay, so let's just first log into this VM, this instance. Okay, yes, okay, so this is my Red Hat. As you can see, I have the I had like 10 gig my root partition xpda2. So if I do let's do sudo bash first. I'm root right now. So let's do f disk l. So as you can see, there is only one disk here, and it's just my root partition, and it's just 10 gig, and that's it. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we are going to go ahead and create another volume. Okay, make sure it's the availability zone is the same. So 1D, I go to volumes, I create volume, I make it enter 1D. Okay, let's make it like 8 gig. Okay, maybe you have to refresh your page once. Okay, so it's here right now. Let's rename it and call it like LVM, so you know which volume belongs to that instance. So we're going to attach this volume to our existing volume, which is logical volume management. Okay, I'm just going to attach the disk. I'll attach it. Okay. So this takes a while. So we go here. Once this is done, so use, okay. Okay, so now you have another disk here, XVDF. This is the new one. This is the 8 gig. Okay, the new one. Okay, and it's device dev xvdf. Okay, so first of all, you have to just go and type fdisk dev. We remember it was xvdf, right? Please make sure what you guys are doing here, because you don't want to format this one. It's not xvda, it's the new disk xvdf. Okay, xvdf. I'll just type it again. Fdisk dev xvdf. Okay, so now type n to create a new partition. P for primary, because we're not trying to extend anything, we're just trying to create a primary. And of course this is the first one, so it will be 1. Okay, so now what you have to do, you have to type T to change the partition type, so you can type in hex code. Okay, to prepare the partition to be used by LVM, you have to change it to LVM partition type. Okay, so you have to type 8E. 8E is for Linux LVM. Okay, so as you can see, change type of partition Linux to Linux LVM. So just type P, press enter, see, now our XVDF1 is Linux LVM now. Our disk basically is LVM. Okay, type W to write the changes. So now, after those commands, the fthis prompt should exit, and you will be back to the bash prompt, as you can see here. Now we have to create PV create, or physical volume. Okay, so we're gonna create PV create dev xvdf1. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Yeah, there is one more thing that you have to do before anything else. You have to install LVM2. Okay, so I'm on Red Hat, so try to install LVM. Yeah, it's just one command, yum install LVM2. because if you don't install it, you won't be able to create the physical volumes and the logical volumes. Okay, very good. So now let's do it again. We're gonna create pv create. Okay, so you're going to create an LVM physical volume on the partition we just created. Okay, so we created a partition. Now we're going to create a physical volume on it. Okay, so you do pv create. This is the first step that you have to do. You have to first create a physical volume. And that xpdf1. Okay, as you can see, the physical volume successfully created. Now you have to create volume groups. Then you put the logical volume inside the volume group. Okay. So the command that you have to use is vg create. Okay. Just name it something. Call it like my vg my vga0. Let's call it this. Def xvdf1. Hopefully, okay, yeah. So okay. Now we have created a volume group. After a physical volume, you create a volume group. Okay? So now you need to create a logical volume. If you remember, my partition was by disk. The disk itself was 8 gig. But now I'm just gonna create just gonna use 5 gig of it for my purpose. So logical volume create now. -l. -l command designates the size of the logical volume. Okay, like in my case, it's going to be let's say I'll go with 3 gig. Okay, and the n, it's the name of the -n is the name of my the volume. Okay, so I'm just gonna call this personal. Okay, just name it something. This is your volume, and this belongs to my vg0, right? My volume group. I have a volume group. I'm gonna add that personal logical volume to the volume group, which is vg0. Okay. So now the logical volume personal got created. Okay. So now it's time to format and mount the logical volume. This is the final step to format the new logical volume with a file system. Okay. We do mkfs t ext3 dev xvdf1, which is oh sorry, you have to just actually add the name of the volume group here now. So my vg0 personal. Okay, so sorry, I just I got confused for a second. So you want to format the new logical volume with a file system. I'm using extension 3 or ext3. Okay, then you do dev the volume group and the logical volume. Okay, so it's good, everything is good, and it's done. Now create a directory, call it, I don't know, Google. Like I'm going to use my name. Okay, now I'm going to mount it. I'm going to mount this 3 dev my vg0 personal g4. So now it's mounted. So if you do df-edge, now you can see it is mounted on sometimes you want to resize your logical volume, right? You can shrink or expand the physical volume sometimes. For example, these are the options that you can try and use. For example, if you want to extend the logical volume, right? Let's say you want to extend, how much did I have? Like 8. To resize the, let's say to resize the logical volume, we need to say, because we are trying to extend by size instead of by device, okay? So in our example, because it's 8 gig, we're just going to add basically 2 gig to our 4 gig volume group. So let's do this. Let's say LV extend, okay, L. I'm just gonna add another 2 gig to do dash, sorry, L2 gig. My new size given not larger than existing size. Let's see. Okay, night same. Okay. Okay. So, okay, size of logical volume personnel change from 3 gig to 4 gig. This is something that I have to tell you exactly here. While this command will work for you, you will see that it will actually resize our logical volume from 3 to 4 instead of actually adding 4. Okay, so if you want to add more, you have to do LV extend L plus 2 gig. Okay, as you can see, from 4 gig it becomes 6 gig. Okay, so here you have to add plus, okay, to basically do that. There are some other options, like if you want to extend the file system, you can just do resize to FS to extend your file system. You can even shrink logical volumes. You can create snapshots. If you Google all these, you'll be able to find tons of information about the logical volumes. So this is it, guys. If you have any questions, please make a comment and let me know. I will be more than happy to answer all your questions. And thank you very much for watching.